In this GYDA Talks, Robert talks to Kostas Petrou. Kostas is the founder of creative agency Ascend Digital. He has spent the last 8 years deep diving into disciplines such as SEO and digital PR, but quickly discovered that the way that SEO agencies were doing things did not quite make sense to him. Kostas found that many agencies were focusing purely on satisfying an algorithm instead of focusing on actual human beings, and so immersed himself in what he calls creative SEO, the art of combining SEO, digital PR, creative content, data, and a sprinkle of social media to create the perfect search cocktail. The Ascend slogan is creativity in search. This is a refreshing interview with a startup agency full of enthusiasm and a passion to make a difference.
And hello and welcome to the GYDA Initiative Talks. And today I'm absolutely delighted to have with me Kostas Petrou, who runs Ascend Digital. Now, he is a bit different from our normal guests because he's got a relatively new, maybe we may even describe it as startup agency, but I think it's going to be really interesting to talk to someone at the beginning of their journey, firstly to understand where they are, where they're coming from and what they're doing, and also to understand what the journey ahead for them is. So, hello, Kostas.
Hello, Robert. How you doing?
Absolutely great. We're absolutely delighted to have you on board. It's going to be a really good conversation because, as you know, most of the people who come on here are more experienced. It'd be really nice to have a different angle. My first question to you, just kicking off straight away, is what is Kostas known for?
There's a few things, Robert, I'm known for. On a personal standpoint, I'm the son of a former British champion boxer, so he was very well known in the 80s. So that's one thing. That's a personal standpoint. I'm also a Amazon best-selling author. So that is actually when I will get into it in more detail. That's when I actually fell in love with digital marketing because I had to market myself back then. So those are the two main things on a kind of more personal / professional standpoint. And of course, being a startup in lockdown, people don't really start up a business when everyone else is locking down and shutting shop. So those are the three main things.
Time when everyone's zigging, it's the time to zag. So right now you're running Ascend, which has got like 3 or 4 of you in the business at the moment. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. Me, Chris, who comes from an accounting background, and a guy called Jonathan, who has more of a digital PR type background.
So how long have you been running? How long have you been going?
We set up, believe it or not, in March this year. And we all know what happened in March this year, don't we?
That's absolutely perfect. So yeah, I remember March. I think we were doing open webinars every night from about 4 until 7 with people saying, I had a business with 25 people. We were doing hospitality, we were doing weddings, and it all disappeared. So, but actually, it is totally the right time. I've opened businesses in recession. It is easier in some senses because you're going in an opposite direction. So it's easier to get noticed. It's easier to get discovered. And I think that, too often what's become totally obvious and what makes you different from the other agencies at the moment is everyone's waiting for the new normal to return as if it's ever going to be 2018 again. And hey guys, it's not, and you don't know what 2018 was like. So
absolutely.
So in that sense, you're way ahead of everyone. So there's always a sort of a spark there. I remember my very first business was a cafe, and I remember sitting really clearly in a well-known cafe in Bath as a student, looking at a piece of pizza and going, "Oh my God, I don't believe this! This is like 10p's worth of cheese and flour and 10p's worth of tomato and onions. That's like 20p, and maybe 20p to heat it, and they're charging £3.75. What a ripoff! I could do better than that." And I had that entrepreneurial aha moment. I could do better than that piece. So for you, what was a spark that took you from what you were doing before just suddenly deciding you're going to run a digital agency?
So I started off in digital marketing maybe 7-8 years ago, and it was noticing that I come from a sales background, so I was very target driven, and everything was about, you've got to hit a figure, you've got to have a target, you've got to hit a figure. When I moved into the digital marketing sphere, if you like, there, especially agencies, there was a lack of, I couldn't quite understand this. There was no real focus target. It was more satisfy an algorithm, especially in the SEO world, and you have to wait 6 to 8 months and so on and so forth. So there wasn't really a definitive laser-like focus on what's next, what a step-by-step process would look like. And so I was told once, I don't know where I heard it, or maybe somebody told me it, but be the change you want to see in the world, somebody said to me. And so I could see there was a clear, definitive path that people weren't taking as agency owners. There were certain things that wasn't happening. And I could see that a lot of people were, and talking SEO now, this one of the main things that I do is SEO. I would see that people were buying links, they were doing blogger outreach and all the usual stuff that you see day to day. And very few were doing a combination of quality SEO and actually digital PR on a creative level and combining that together. And when I saw them two things combined together, I saw magic happening. You saw loads of backlinks hitting clients' websites, so on and so forth. And so you didn't need to go out and buy these blogger outreach backlinks. You didn't need to go out there and spend money on this. If you actually have a bit of creativity about you from a search point of view, you could get these backlinks organically and also drive thousands. I mean, I've seen examples where a website 10 times its traffic by having one quality digital PR campaign. So I wanted to combine that together. I could see that wasn't happening very often. There were even agencies that were doing SEO, digital PR. They were doing it in almost two separate elements. And I wanted to combine that as one kind of under one roof. It's all part of the same goal ultimately, which is achieving goals, driving rankings, driving traffic, but ultimately return on investment for the client, which is the number one thing I aim for.
Okay, we'll come back to that. But I mean, I guess my thing is just going back to startup mode. I mean, where did you? So you were employed at an agency and then you went native. Is that right?
I was working for a B2B van hire company, and I was working in the sales team. And there was a very new digital marketing team that had just come into the company. So they employed a few digital marketers, and they started working with some agencies. One of them was an SEO agency. And because I was having a lot of involvement, we're talking about a small business. So as we know, in small businesses, you wear many hats. I mean, I wasn't just in sales, I was crossing over into marketing. And I could see the conversation between the digital marketing team and the SEO agency. And I could see the frustrations from client side, the frustrations that we were having. And I saw that there was a big gap there. And so after much mulling over, thinking about how it could be improved, and again, looking at that change that I wanted to see, and then I eventually branched out and created that change myself with Ascend. So I guess it was.
What were the gaps that you felt weren't being covered by existing agencies?
First and foremost, the first thing I noticed was there was always a month one where the only thing that happened was an audit, and you're being charged for that. I mean, that I couldn't get my head around. I mean, you're being charged full whack plus usually a startup fee, working with the agency, just for an audit. And for me, I've completed audits. They take maybe, the best of time. An in-depth audit can take a couple of days if you're doing it flat out. I guess from a small agency perspective like myself, we have the capacity to spend more laser-like focus on these things without having to go through two or three different teams. So we could, there's three of us, we can all focus on one goal, which is get a quality audit produced. So I could see that companies were, clients were being charged a lot of money in month one just for an audit. So I could see straight away that there was an opportunity to say, why spend £1,000, £1,500 a month or whatever it may be for the first month just on an audit? Let's actually get the audit done within the first few days and start delivering within the first few weeks. Start seeing some tangible results happening within month one, rather than waiting for month two, month three, month four. So there was this again, it was all about, for me, from a sales mindset. We haven't got time to, a lot of the companies I was speaking to during lockdown, I haven't got the money to give you just to produce an audit in month one. We need to have results straight away. What can you do to move the needle immediately? And so that was our initial goal. We targeted in month one take restaurants that wanted to branch into takeaways, because we knew that they were locking down. They weren't able to have people moving in. So it was all this that was combining together that enabled me to say, actually, there's a gap in the market here, and let's explore it further.
Well, I certainly think that what's happened is that the COVID has made agencies have to redefine how they do what they do. So what we've got is a bunch of agencies saying, we remember 2018, it was so much, and 2019, it was so much fun, it was so easy. Well, in retrospect, it was so easy, and that's how we do business. We are a hammer, and everything is a nail. So we are going to push stuff through our cookie cutter that suits us, and if it suits us to spend month one, we're going to do the audit, and month two, we're going to make recommendations, and month three, we're going to. That's cool. And I think that one of the things that COVID's done is it has created people like you who said, well, that is how agencies run, but they don't have to run that way. And similarly, I think a whole load of PPC agencies have recognized that being pure PPC is, people don't wake up in the morning and say, I want more PPC. They wake up in the morning and say, I want more customers. Does the client really care how you get a new customer, whether it's SEO or PPC or content or PR or sending emails out or telesales? I'm not so sure they do. I think customers actually want more customers, better customers. Give me more better customers. I don't care how you do it. So I think there's been a real challenge to the digital agency community about how we deliver. So that's great. So just out of interest, I'd be curious to know, I'm going to start up. I'm going to run my own business. Where did you go for advice?
Initially online, and then I started connecting with other agency owners. I'm hoping that the two names I'm going to mention here won't mind mentioning them, but one of the most the largest inspirations for me was speaking to Aaron at Impression in Nottingham.
I know Aaron.
Absolutely
tall Aaron.
I've never met him in person because I have only
He's tall. He is. I mean, it's very tallest. But you do go. Hi, Aaron. You're tall. Lovely guy. Great. Okay. Yeah. Aaron at Impression in Nottingham. Yes.
Yeah. So I just sent out a blanket email to maybe 5 or 6 agency owners who I done some research. I found that these guys had established themselves in perhaps between a 5 to 8 year period, done really well. And I wanted to get the blueprint, so to speak. And, I'm not expecting them to share all their secrets, but Aaron was very, very willing to give me a lot of advice. And from March till today, I mean, Aaron just emailed me last night. We've been back and forth, and I've been asking him tons of questions, and he's been so happy to kind of help. And another guy called Dan, who he actually set up his own agency not long back as well. So he's got a lot more experience as an agency, from an agency background than I have, but he started up, I believe, a similar time to myself. So I've been asking Dan a lot of questions as well, and again, we're still talking to this day. So reaching out to people that have been there and done it is my main thing, and obviously I've been reaching out on the GYDA Facebook page, asking questions on there, getting good advice, good answers on there. So I mean, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to look at what people have done and then try and improve it. And that's what I've been trying to do.